Happy Friday. Give me a one in the chat if you can hear me. Give me a one in the chat if you can hear me. Shout out to Steph. Shout out to VP B Dubs in the house. Shout out to the number one PM on YouTube, waiting for him to start his channel. Shout out to Larry. Jeffrey Johnson, always supporting, always supporting. So B Dubs know I got to tell a story. They were talking, him and her and Chris were talking about on their YouTube channel for 20 minutes, and they didn't realize nobody could hear them. They were on the back chat, so I always got to do the one in the chat because of B Dubs. Her and Crystal, but I'm glad she could join me. I know she's super busy. I appreciate that, B Dubs. You know how we do it. Something a little different. I do this probably every other year. Super Bowl cybersecurity, because it's such a big issue, and a lot of people just don't realize what a heavy lift that is, and how many agencies are in the background. And from a GRC perspective, running those incident response exercise with 20 government agencies and what that looks like. So the two is I did a incident response for the state of Indiana. Actually, let me roll that back. I'm going to interview the guy that actually ran that particular run. Incident exercise, I ran some prior to that. His was big. I think it was 100 people. I never ran any incident exercise that big. But long story short, Department of Homeland Security showed up for that. I was in the back reviewing, doing some administration stuff, and I just started talking to the guy. And long story short is, when you do incident response for a large government agency, they show up for those because if it's a nation state attack, between all Department of Revenues to stop fundings for state, Department of Homeland Security wants to know, once again, if it's a nation state attack. So they come to a lot of state exercises for incident response and review those. So I really thought that was interesting. I'm actually trying to track him down and do an interview on it. That's been about a decade ago. It was the best live stream. Facts. It's all good. Hopefully people caught me on the replay. You know how we do it. If you got any questions, cybersecurity or tech or GRC, drop them in the chat and promoting the VP. They got Coffee Mafia inside of their Discord. Study GRC, so you can actually meet with some of those very knowledgeable, experienced people, and I'm usually tier 3. So if somebody needs me, but you got to go through B Dubs to get to me. Shout out to me. Get myself a shout out. But definitely go check out Study GRC's Discord. We're gonna get to rolling. Not keep everybody too long. Get our lunch and learn on. Once again, IU won the college football state championships. Shout out to the state of Indiana. I almost actually went to this university. That's really interesting, though. Beautiful university, just a little too big for PBO at the time. He is not going to sit in a 200-seat lecture hall. That's never going to happen. And pay attention. So, but shout out to the who's just IU. Let's get to rolling. So, the Super Bowl coming up. I don't know the exact date. I guess I should have looked it up before the cast. So let's keep rolling. Super Bowls, college Super Bowls, big events. We're going to get to this. This is called SEER Level 1. Let me see. I did that out of order. We're going to jump around because PBO all out of sorts as always. Yeah, I did that out of order. We're going to get it together. So Super Bowl is designated. I got that on slide 21. He got to get it together. I appreciate you, Steph. Steph looking out for the old people. February 8th. Man, I thought it was this Monday. PBO's all off. February 8th. Shout out to Steph for helping us out. Super Bowl is a designated SEER Level 1. What is SEER? Special Event Assessment Rating. We know GRC is always doing assessment by the Department of Homeland Security because it's a major event of significant national importance. requiring extensive federal support for security and incident management, involving agencies like the FBI, Secret Service, TSA, and a multi-layered protective efforts, including background checks for access. Once again, Tier 1 means high-profile event. It's top-tier designation for events like the Super Bowl, major marathons, or presidential inaugurations. Extensive federal involvement requires coordination, resources for numerous federal agencies. Risk assessment, DHS uses a risk-based method for considering threats, vulnerabilities, and potential consequences. So that's why we do this. Serial level 1. I might start a project and call it Serial level 1. That sounds kind of cool. You top of the shelf. Serial level 1 Super Bowl. And I thought this really got started from this particular attack. It was Olympics game, Munich massacre in 1972. A Palestine group called Black September. 11 Israel athletes and coaches were killed or deleted. Hostage taking broadcast live worldwide. Global event, security forever. Birth of the modern counterterrorism units, especially GSG-9. Shout out to Regime. Ho, ho, ho. Christmas? I don't know what's going on with Regime. Want me hold tight? What's going on, Regime? Glad you could join us. Let's look at a quick video talking about that particular attack. Let's see, I got it queued up. Once again, we know PBO, I always struggle streaming. Let's see. I'll show a quick one. I'll probably get demonetized. Shout out to Regine. Hi, everyone. Let's check this out real quick.
The Munich massacre occurred during the 1972 Summer Olympic Games. The Olympics had not been held in Germany since just before World War II. The organizers of the Munich Olympics seemed to have skimped on security, as they were largely unarmed and non-confrontational. 8 terrorists of the Black September organization snuck into the Olympic Village disguised as athletes, wearing tracksuits with duffel bags full of guns and grenades. They were first confronted by Josef Gutfreund, an Israeli wrestling referee, and Moshe Weinberg, a coach. The attackers shot Weinberg and forced him at gunpoint to lead them into other athlete rooms. Weinberg attempted to disarm an attacker, but was shot to death. The attackers were confronted again by a weightlifter, who was killed and had his body dismembered. The attackers went on to take 9 hostages, and negotiations fell through. Mind you, that these events were being broadcasted to nearly 1 billion people worldwide. There were plans to ambush the terrorists, but they began to threaten the lives of the hostages, forcing the police to retreat. The police wanted to at least speak to one of the hostages, and spoke to fencing coach Andrei Spitzer. But Spitzer was subsequently clubbed with the butt of an AK-47. They had to try a new approach at getting the hostages out safely, so it was proposed to meet the demands of the attackers. A plan was devised to fly the attackers and hostages out to Cairo. The police had hoped to ambush the terrorists and were lining the streets with snipers. The terrorists were alerted of this and became even more spooked. A bus drove the terrorists to the helicopters, which were flown to the airport, where several German policemen were on standby. It is worth noting that most of the law enforcement involved in this ordeal had near zero hostage situation experience, and some even had little shooting practice. The attackers were to make their way onto a Boeing 727, with German police disguised as flight attendants. The police aboard the airplane concluded the mission was too risky and abandoned ship. This left just 5 sharpshooters to face off the whole group. The attackers broke the agreement and ended up holding German helicopter pilots at gunpoint as well. The attackers made their way to the plane, only to realize they walked into a trap. They sprinted back to the helicopters and 2 of the kidnappers were killed. But the rest managed to get to cover, and a long gunfight ensued. There was actually some misinformation going around, with indications that all the hostages were alive and the attackers were all dead. All 9 Israeli hostages, 5 Black September terrorists, and 1 Munich policeman were killed in a shootout. Despite this tragedy, the Olympic Games actually resumed shortly after. The decision to continue the events was highly criticized, but the conclusion was that the Games must go on. 3 of the terrorists survived the ordeal and were imprisoned, until a plane was hijacked in an attempt to demand their release. They were released by the West German government and exchanged for the hijacked Lufthansa Flight 615. Two of the terrorists were allegedly hunted down by Israeli intelligence and killed, while one is suspected to be alive to this day, with his whereabouts unknown.
So I think that particular event actually really started the seer level, and countries starting to really pay attention that when you do high profile events, the bad guys will take advantage of those events to try to get publicity. So once again, that was the Munich quick 3 minutes, 1972. So once again, I think that really kicked off that level. So DHS, Department of Homeland Security, for the Super Bowl. Who leads this? The lead federal agency, once again, is Department of Homeland Security. CISA, my favorite organization, Cybersecurity Infrastructure Agency, in coordination with the FBI, Secret Service, state and local centers, private sector, telecom, steady operators, broadcasters. The Super Bowl, once again, is designated as a national special security event, which elevates federal coordination and resources. Shout out to Cam. Glad you can make it. PBO Friday. I love it. Yep, that's kind of my my normal time. Let's get the lunch and learn on. So what's the objectives? DHS and CISA focus on preventing, detecting, and responding to cyber incidents that could disrupt the game or broadcast, impact public safety, undermine confidence in critical infrastructure, enable a physical attack through cyber means. This is just not IT security. It's actually cyber physical security. And once again, I think that's kind of why I'm enamored by that. I'm usually more on the IT side and the cyber side. The key cyber threats, DHS monitors critical infrastructure attack, power grid, communication networks, transportation systems, emergency 911. These are top priorities because disruption could cause panic or physical harm. So once again, your critical infrastructure, I think we overlooked that. And we talked about that. I think it's 17 critical infrastructures that the federal government actually does oversight. Now, if there's a nuclear power plant close by, that will be on there. Power dam would be on there. We know the power grid with the data centers is always an issue. But once again, what is the critical infrastructure? They did the one in Miami, especially for the college. So, they got the Coast Guard out there, probably the Navy, probably the Navy SEALs were out there. Because anytime you can get close to water, people can attack you from boats or get away from boats. Right? Once again, what does that critical infrastructure looks like and how it moves? Once again, you know how we do it. If we got any questions, cybersecurity or chat, telecom and network disruptions, cellular network overloaded. We actually saw that where they found the sleeper cell where they had like 200 or 300 phones because they were going to try to disrupt the New York telecom. So once again, how do we block that, foresee that, or track that down? Once again, cellular network overload, DDoS attacks on your ISPs, interference with your public safety communication. Department of Homeland's work close with your telecom providers for increased monitoring, pre-positioning response team, and share threat intelligence in real time, right? When they find something running up the chain, hopefully get, I guess, other agencies out there to prevent those type of things. Because if you get a DDoS attack, a lot of times you want to work with your telecom providers to block it out further on the internet so it won't even get to that area, right? So that's how you share and coordinate with private and public entities. Broadcast and media, attacks on live broadcast feed, signaling hijack, ransomware against media production systems. The Super Bowl is one of the most watched live events on earth, making broadcasters a prime target. Right. So if you're trying to get something out or some disruption or you doing some kind of protest, if you can get it on while everybody on the planet's watching the Super Bowl, right, that'll be definitely a high value target. Let's see what my man Cam's saying. What about the electric substation? I'm sure that's super fortified. I'm sure they got protections around it, but that is it. A lot of people don't realize substations; those are easy targets. But once again, I'm sure they probably fortified. I'm sure they have some big dump truck by it or something. So it'll be interesting. I'm gonna look for that on TV when it goes live and see if I can see that. Shout out to Cam. Ransomware and destructive malware, stadium operations, ticket systems, vendors, and suppliers. Department of Homeland warns that attackers can often target third parties with weaker security. And we're always talking about third-party risk assessments, right? So from a federal standpoint and that type of standpoint, that's where your third party is. Who has the tickets? Who's providing, telecoms for that? What's the local electric company for that, right? All of those are third parties. You need to kind of do an assessment on, and if you need to, you might need to help them strengthen up their security before the event, right? These are the things you need to add, and these are the things you need to upgrade. Disinformation and influence, fake emergency alerts, false reports of violence or threats, social media panic campaigns. CISA monitors for foreign and domestic influence operations that could cause confusion or fear. We're always talking about the myths and disinformation. Part of that is fake, once again, fake emergency alerts, fake reports. You can easily get something started in on the internet. I cannot express how fascinating this. I'm like a Venn diagram for speaking type. No, that is true. It is a different, and I am kind of fascinated. I always say enamored, which is the same person. It's just a lot different, and to me, that level of sophistication and all those organizations you got to kind of wield around. And if you're only strong as your weakest link, and that's a lot of touch points when you're talking about a live event in real time. Cyber threat intelligence sharing. Department of Homeland shares classified and unclassified threats with CISA advisor, the Fusion Centers, and joint cyber defense collaboration. So there's a lot of agencies and coordination that comes with that. And I think, and I'm like that, I think we take that for granted, how smoothly that ends up working. Let's see, there is a big conspiracy on this. Cost ton of ligament damages for that is a conspiracy. That's a billion-dollar company, so you would think we would, put some shielding up around it. They did have a lot of injuries though this year, so it's wondering. I'm sure if that's true, they put some shielding up around it. That's the NFL is a $9 billion enterprise. So incident response readiness, pre-positioning cyber response team, 24/7 monitoring during your Super Bowl week, and rapid coordination with local authorities, right? Because your local authority is going to be really your first boots on the ground. They're there. They kind of know all the players and all kinds of the suspicion. So I'm sure a year or two out, you start bringing in federal responses to make sure the things they think are little fishes are actually little fishes, right? So that's always a unique thing. So let's look at this quick Homeland Security video. I believe this was for last year's Super Bowl, but it's really the same. A lot of the same organizations, the same intel they're using.
We have a big event coming on Sunday, and we are committed to having a safe environment for every individual that attends and a great opportunity to recognize these fantastic teams. Our partners include not just the NFL, but also the City of New Orleans. And then also we have partner agencies at the federal, the state, and the local level. We will be utilizing different agencies and departments under the umbrella of Homeland Security.
We're coordinating over 1,000 federal employees across 24 federal agencies, augmenting the city and state's security plan here in New Orleans for Super Bowl 59. It involves us bringing in 100 K-9s from different federal agencies, mainly the Transportation Security Administration. Our friends at Customs and Border Protection and the Coast Guard, they have aviation and water assets, boats and planes and helicopters, and we can bring those assets and that expertise to the table. HSI has criminal investigators and analysts and special response teams, so we were able to bring those elements to the table. Everyone has a different authority and a different programmatic area and a different expertise. And what we've done is we've woven all of those agencies into a plan with the state to secure the city.
President Trump has also made a commitment for us to be able to deploy other assets from other departments and agencies, and I appreciate the flexibility that he has given us to make sure that we're addressing this event in a way that is responsive to what we see coming forward. This Super Bowl exemplifies how we come together to safeguard our traditions, how we come together to make sure that the public is well informed and gets the chance to celebrate something that's very special to us, to our culture, to our people, and to our families.
So I thought that was interesting. That was last year's Super Bowl. Once again, probably 1,000 federal employees. You saw the K-9s working. I'm just going to say shout out to South Park, and I'm going to leave that alone. Once again, drop any questions, cybersecurity. And then that's part of what you were seeing is there's incident response readiness, running through those exercises, practicing stuff. Once again, coordinating over 1,000 federal employees. That was last year. Hell, it's probably more this year. The public and private coordination, stadium operators, city and IT departments, power and water utilities, telecom providers, media companies. That's a whole nation of security models. All right, once again, just a ton of them in there, a ton of them out there. Things, what they were helping. Cyber physical integration. DHS treats cyber incidents as potential enabler of physical attacks, disabling security cameras, interfering with access control, disrupting emergency response systems. Even those are cyber attacks. They open up the door for your physical attack. Right? If you disable the security cameras, you got terrorists drop in, start running amok before you kind of get feedback as quick as you can, interfering with access control and badges. Once again, the bad guys can get in there. Once again, disrupting the emergencies. Once again, bad guys get a head start before the good guys get in there. DHS does not publicly disclose specific vulnerabilities, active threat intelligence, defensive architectures, detailed incident response playbooks. Most work happens behind the scenes. We know that. They're not going to show their hands or show what they're actually doing out there. Legal and Policy Authorities, Homeland Security Act, National, once again, Special Event Authorities, Presidential Policy Directives, and CISA Critical Infrastructure Protection. We know Department of Homeland Security is under my favorite, NIST 800-53. Shout out to the big boy compliance. How this ties with cybersecurity. Once again, NIST Cybersecurity, the CSF. Also, once again, my favorite, 853. Zero Trust Principle, Incident Response and Resilience Planning. I think that's a big deal, especially among GRC, running incident response programs and exercises. Because the only way you know if you're ready, if you do those exercises. And I've done a ton of those in the future. And sometimes we do them and we're like, yeah, we would have been toast. we didn't block the malware. We didn't notify security. We didn't quarantine the PC quick enough, right? There was no communication in there. We don't have a 24/7 SOC. So the event happened at 11 p.m. We didn't know till 11 p.m., 11 a.m. the next day. That was 12 hours, right? But that's why you do those incident response exercises and kind of run through those. Even if those tabletop, just kind of talk through what that will look like. Examples of the messaging in the weeks before the Super Bowl, heighten awareness bulletins, patch your systems, review your response plans, monitor your logs, prepare for DDoS and ransomware attacks. They said not like, they prepare like they're going to happen. So not like it might happen now. You definitely going to have some DDoS and some ransomware on those particular days and events. Drop the link if anybody want to come up. Just kind of winding down on this. This is the levels of the event. SIR events are voluntary submitted special events which are sent to the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, Chief of Operation Coordination by local, state, and federal officials for risk assessment. Example of submitted events. So you submit your events to Department of Homeland Security, and they give it a ranking. Right, then they'll figure out if they need to give you federal support or not. My favorite, Super Bowl. I'm in Indianapolis. I've probably been to the Indianapolis 500. My father loved that event. I've probably been there 20 times when my father was alive. Kentucky Derby. The OPS, Office of Operation and Coordination, applies a risk-based methodology to the submitted event and assigns them to a SIR rating. This methodology considers the threat, vulnerability, and consequence of each event. We talked about the big dog was the SIR 1. Significant events with national or international importance that require extensive federal interagency support. 2, significant event with national or international importance that may require some level of federal interagency. 3, events of national or international importance that require only a limited support. 4, events with limited national importance that are managed at the state and local levels. 5, events that may be nationally recognized but generally only have a local or state importance. Right there. So that lets you know if you're going to get federal assistance or not. I should have looked up, do the Super Bowl pay the government back for their 1,000 employees and their 400 dogs? Joke on the dogs. Shout out to the dogs. Once again, I dropped the link if anybody wants to come up. No pressure on this Friday. PBO's wearing down, probably take a nap. I'm always taking a nap. Let's see. So I think that's really the end. Let me show one more. No, it wasn't a video. Just going to peruse through. You see a DHS Super Bowl. That was the prior one to this, but most of that's the same. Around 100,000 people will be celebrating inbound for that. Once again, that was for New Orleans. With over 690 DHS personnel deployed, we bring cutting-edge security resource technology and ensure every aspect of the event is protected. Once again, DHS assessed this Super Bowl as a special event assessment rating, SIR level 1 event. DHS efforts for the Super Bowl including these following ones: United States Customs and Border Patrol protection. Air and Marine will enforce temporary flight restrictions, providing eye-in-the-sky intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, flight operations in and out of key venues around the Super Bowl. Homeland Security response team is providing interior stadium tactical support. Special agents will be in support of the local law enforcement agency and other private partners identifying any investigating in any flea markets, retail outlets, street vendors, online selling counterfeit goods. My favorite one, CISA, Cybersecurity Infrastructure Agency, will deploy advisory and emergency communication coordination with support of local law enforcement, emergency responders, and private partners. Ahead of the event, the agency conducted physical cybersecurity vulnerability assessment, planning exercise, bomb safety workshop with the state and local police. Office of Intelligence and Analysis works with the FBI to set threat landscape leading up to Super Bowl. Counter Weapons of Mass Destruction Office provides surge support for its mobile detection deployment program and BioWatch programs. If you remember, that semi truck was driving between that opening. That was them scanning for bombs in that truck. Coast Guard, if you by water, will enforce maritime security zoning along the river and the ocean, high capacity passenger vessel, waterfront facilities, and good moving along critical waterways. TSA, Supervisory of Air Marshal, will staff the Fusion Y Center during the event. Will use national deployment forces to increase the number of transportation security officers working at the local airport. Science and technology directives will deploy easy to assemble, expandable security barriers that can be installed quickly to provide critical asset protection and intrusion prevention. FEMA will keep fans safe by providing communication tools for state and local. And DHS Blue Campaign is a public awareness campaign to disseminate digital and out of home advertisement for that particular Super Bowl. So just kind of want to read to that. Once again, I am really amazed. Shout out to my man Todd. Shout out to Space Tacos. A little late, but always welcome. Shout out to the Go Broncos. They quarterback's out, but hopefully they can do it. Let's see. I'm assuming DH Ops will handle, be involved. Oh yeah, definitely. World Cup is definitely a tier one, a tier one. Oh, definitely is a tier one. Once again, I dropped that link down if anybody wanted to come up. Just gotta go over a few high level things. Once again, just my little Super Bowl. I do that probably every other year. Yeah, let's do that. I'm always struggle streaming. Let's see. Let me stop that. What's up? What's up?
Yo, just coming on, man. Showing support, man. Is just all I'm doing.
You got anything you want to add to it?
Go Patriots.
I feel you. I feel you. Who's just probably my last day showing the slide. I just was enamored that the Indiana Hoosiers could actually win a national title. So
You know what? I'm not really. It's like me with this whole Super Bowl football thing. I'm not really. I mean, I'm a Patriot fan, but I haven't been watching the whole season. It's just
no, that's kind of how I am. That's kind of how I am. And once again, Super Bowl, just talking about Department of Homeland Security, all the agencies involved, all the people involved, all the cross-agency coordination, cybersecurity. They got mobile labs with laptops they spinning up. So just the volume of that for a Super Bowl.
There's one thing is to get into the security part is the sports betting. Now that thing is taking off. Like, well, I don't bet, but sports betting is a thing that is about to get that. You're going to have to apply some infrastructure and security policies on.
Yeah, I think they're doing a little bit of that because they want to make sure nobody's cheating or skewing the game. So they're doing a little bit of that now. But like you're right, sport betting, which I thought the NFL and the NCAA sold out on that. They just kind of opened it up. So if you got a betting problem, that's on you. So shout out to Steph. She wants the Seahawks Patriot 2016 rematch. But the Seahawks win this big time, I feel. Kim sign off on that. Ditto, the same. But once again, and I guess it makes sense for Department of Homeland Security to be the lead organization. Everybody's falling under them. I'm always big how big ICE is in there, which I thought was weird. For that TSA, I always think of them just patting people down at the airport, but obviously it's a much bigger organization, and I'm giving it credit for. Go ahead and chime in on that.
No, I mean, yeah, well, Look, despite you how you feel about ice, I mean, I understand it getting bigger, but it's just like, it is what it is. But and especially with TSA, is like now we're putting more emphasis in infrastructure and home security because, like I said, overseas, your advanced persistent threats, like ever since what's going on geopolitically with Venezuela, then now you're looking at Greenland. Yeah, well, about to get taken pretty soon. It's just in a matter of time. You're going to want to secure your infrastructure pretty soon. So, you know,
No, 100%. I don't disagree with any of that.
because that AI, what is those servers? They take a lot of heat. So I've got a feeling those things are going to be put right there in Greenland.
That's a good point. So yeah, but once again, Department of Homeland Security, SEER one. Somebody brought up soccer. Yeah, I think Cam brought up. Yeah, World Cup. I'm not a big soccer guy, but yeah, that's definitely a SEER level one. And two, which makes sense. We want to control that because there's a lot of people at the game itself. Then once again, the national attention those events get. So you want to make sure those are locked down. And when I showed you the Munich incident years ago, I think that actually kind of got all the nations to start ramping up that, hey, we could get taken hostage. And the one thing, I don't know if you was paying attention, the police officers said they didn't really have a lot of gun training. Like, y'all sitting in the Three Stooges? What's going on? So I think once they came out, people wanted to make sure they sent in their top forces, that be back the Mossad, the Navy SEALs. You want to have those elite guys on standby for that. You want to go looking like you sent, four dudes with no gun training to a hostage situation. So once
No,
again, I
no.
think
Well,
that helped get everybody
you
to
have
get ready.
you have designated teams for that tactical teams doing that physical, security. Like you have your, like I said, there's broken down to various teams. You got your Overwatch sniper teams, reconnaissance teams. All this stuff is planned out days before the
Okay.
actual game, and then you got undercovers. It's like I said, security is going to be from the physical aspect all the way to the digital and network. Because you got to think. A lot of these games now, especially the World Cup, I don't know if it's going to be held here or not. I don't know. I don't follow soccer. Um, it's on a geopolitical sphere, especially in the fifth and sixth gen warfare aspects.
Now that's true. I guess I should show I need to show my drone video because the big deal now is drones. So they got drones catching drones and drones cutting the power out of other drones. So let me find that real quick. Pay my drone. I appreciate you, Cam. I did like that Munich video. Like I said, I kind of remembered that. I was like, let me follow up on that and see what does that look like. Once again, you know how we would drop any questions, cybersecurity, put them in the chat. This one I thought was interesting. This actually is an Asian SWAT team was doing this. So I'm sure if they're doing it, we're doing it. So let me share it out. Once again, drop any questions, cybersecurity. In the chat, you know how we do it.
Yeah, and that's the thing with, like I said, with drone. Show this drone video.
Yeah, let me show it real quick.
What if I told you there's a gun that can stop a drone midair? So this police officer demonstrates the process of taking down unwanted drones in a non-destructive way. With just one simple press, this device jams the drone's signals, cutting off its control and forcing it to land safely without causing damage to others or itself. But what if I told you there's a gun that can stop a drone midair? So this police officer demonstrates the process of taking down unwanted drones.
Yeah, that's something new. I'm just saying because, like I said, with drones, I mean, because it operates off of frequency, like you're going to be taking a lot of like once you hit one drone, you're pretty much better hope yours is not in the proximity because it's going to jam that up too and take it out of the sky. You still there?
Oh, my fault. I'm
Oh,
here.
you
I
good.
was on mute. I was on mute talking. Let's look at this. The top 10 ways to take down drones. I thought this was in drone use MP tech to take out others. True, true, true. Let's see. This one was cool. They were using eagles to take out drones. I thought that was
Drones are
unique.
rapidly being employed in a variety of industries nowadays, and that is a good thing. But on the other hand, they can be dangerous if not utilized properly, and drone misuse has become a major concern across the globe for a variety of reasons, from supplying contraband to prisons to delaying plane takeoffs to spying on individuals. So here we have the 10 best anti-drone systems for shooting drones out of the sky. But let me tell you something. If you like and subscribe right now, you're going to become a new drone hunter today. Birds of prey. Birds of prey are a potential alternative for law enforcement wanting to get rid of renegade drones. Eagles themselves are some of the animal kingdom's most effective hunters, with their massive wingspan and large talons. The method clearly works, but is it good for the bird? One concern is whether the raptor's feet would hold up against the rotors of larger, sturdier drones, but keep in mind that bald eagles have very high visual acuity. They can see exactly where the rotors are better than we could, and even if they did make contact with a rotor, it would be unlikely to do any real damage, at least for most commercially available drones, which tend to be relatively lightweight. The project is still in its testing phase. The police still have a few more months to determine whether the eagles represent a viable, sustainable anti-drone system. Humans have long partnered with animals to achieve our goals. Pigeons once served as spies during World War II, after all. Why not employ a troop of eagles to intercept hostile drones? Radar technology.
I'm seeing PETA
Radar
coming
detection
after
can also be
people
used to
with that.
detect
Go ahead and chime in on it. I stopped it. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Chime in.
you got to think PETA and the animal rights people are going to be coming after people, security folks like us using animals like that. I don't even see that taking off pretty soon. And at the same token, those drones will still harm those, well, not like I care about them, but it's just they can take out those birds right there.
No, you right. I think I think it's like you said, levels. If it's one of those small commercial drones, you're probably saying anything bigger than that, right? You're gonna have different technologies. But I was kind of with you.
I sent you a video. You can go to timestamp 20, but I follow these guys all the time with them always in the tactical side. But I sent you the video, so I don't know if you got it in your private chat. And it's just basically been shotguns and other means to take out a drone. Once you finish this one.
They probably got them in here too. So let me let this play a little longer. Once again, if y'all got any questions in the chat, drop them in there. Just going over Super Bowl security, and part of that is drones are big time, especially now with the current wars and stuff. We having a lot of people using a lot of drones in those type of engagements now.
Unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs for short. Traditional military and aviation radar systems, which are designed to pick up large aircraft, may struggle to pick up smaller drones or to distinguish them from other objects such as birds. They may also find it difficult to deal with drones that move slowly or hover. Modern anti-drone radar systems may use a variety of radar technologies, depending on requirements for range, size of the protection zone, number of simultaneous targets to track, and ability to deal with environmental clutter. They provide 3D airspace tracking and use sophisticated signal processing techniques to accurately detect and identify drones. As each detection method has its advantages and drawbacks, multi-sensor anti-drone systems will combine different sensor types along with sensor fusion algorithms to provide a complete integrated solution. Drone catcher. What better way to catch a drone than with a drone? Created by Dutch firm Delft Dynamics, the drone catcher is a multicopter that surrounds target drones and either tows them to safety or drops them with a net. Some of the other anti-drone systems on this list can be damaging to a drone, but the drone catcher makes sure you can take out another drone without losing any incriminating evidence. After detection by, for example, a radar, vision, or an acoustic system, drone catcher is able to quickly approach hovering or moving threats. With the use of multiple onboard sensors, the net gun can be locked on the target, and due to its tracking capabilities, the drone will be swiftly caught by shooting a net. After the catch, drone catcher can carry the captured drone on a cable to a harmless place and release it there. If the caught drone is too heavy to be carried, it can be dropped with a parachute to ensure a low impact on the ground. Drone hacking. Hacking a drone in flight seems like something out of a spy movie, but it is quite possible. Drones can be hacked from as much as 1.6 kilometers away, and there are several different ways a drone can be hacked. A radio signal is often unencrypted, making it easy to decode with a packet analyzer or sniffer, so hacking a drone signal isn't technically demanding. Once the drone has been located, a hacker can potentially take control of it, or downlink video or other images which the drone is broadcasting to its base station. GPS spoofing, for example, feeds the drone false GPS coordinates. The drone thinks it is following its original flight pattern but in fact, is being led to a different location. Hijacking the command and control signals between the operator and the drone can deliver full control of the drone and its systems to the hacker. Just for fun, he might simply want to crash it deliberately or leave it with no way to navigate. DARPA laser. The United States government is spending millions of dollars on anti-drone technology, for a good reason too. Though there have been no documented cases of people equipping drones with explosives for malicious purposes, there have been cases in Germany and Japan of people using drones as weapons. The Pentagon's Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA for short, is developing a new laser weapon that can shoot down and neutralize drones, and they are testing a number of devices which would be able to neutralize all types no matter the shape or size. The general idea is to use lasers to shoot down drones deemed a threat, which will also be deployed as a shield, protecting troops and allies from airborne threats. In layman's speak, DARPA wants an omnipresent death laser that can shield the country from a Star Wars-style post-apocalyptic drone invasion. Sky fence. As previous
I'm gonna put that link inside the description. I thought some of those were kind of unique technology. I thought you would like that, Ty. Go hack it in mid-flight. I don't know, Ty. I'm gonna drop it in the chat for that particular one. I just kind of put up the drone attack video. I haven't really dug down into the nuances of trying to hack a drone in mid-flight and what does that look like. I think an antenna would be used. It looked like it, but I'm guessing on that, Ty. Once again, drop your questions in there, cybersecurity, and let you know what that was. Super Ice on that video. What did you want me to go to? He might
Go to 20 timestamp 20.
Timestamp 20. Okay.
It just shows you variations of, well, how you can take out a drone. It's not 100%, but it gives you options.
It's funny. In that video I had, this was coming up. The shotgun was coming up. So it's funny you brought that up.
But you got to think that these things are fast. It's like you're just not going to get it. It's like those things, like if you've seen drones before, when they get low to the earth, those things are like a mosquito. It's like zoom, zoom, zoom.
Let me play that.
You think the ATF, TSA, you think those guys
Let me get to is my sound on? Is it sound?
are bad? Wait till you meet the FAA. So the FAA has some interesting rules surrounding civilians and drones. It is fully illegal to shoot a drone out of the sky, and they will come down on you harder than any other government agency, basically. That being said, they also have a very important job. The FAA does do some things very, very well, like protect our skies and keep planes from running into each other, or from idiot drone hobbyists who want to, use their plane to accidentally interfere with actual aircraft. So there's a purpose to the organization, but they also have some absurd rules. One of them being, you can't even shoot down your own drone on your own property even if it's just a foot off the ground. But there's a little bit of a workaround. You can anchor it to the ground, or if we were indoor, like an indoor shooting range, then we could shoot it. Basically, it mitigates the chances of it flying off and flying away. Well, we happen to have a completely inoperable drone that is incapable of flight on its own. The reason why we're shooting this is we want to figure out, does birdshot actually make an impact on a modern drone? Like, I mean, this is some pretty hard plastics. There's some carbon fiber parts here as well. Can birdshot even penetrate it? If it were to even hit it, can it take it down? Props are a lot more resilient than people think. When you start running into limbs and trees and stuff, sure, they can break, but they're a lot stronger than fashion plastic, man. Like, nothing. Then we have
one here, but it didn't pass through, or we're clean on the other side.
under here, this is carbon fiber.
I think that's
Your signal okay?
One right here on the prop. Drew, you've actually been taking classes on drones. Is that going to take a prop down?
Bird
No.
pellets is
So
No, not at all.
yeah, they shot it, so it's just the results.
Yeah,
that was
so
interesting. You really couldn't shoot.
these two are already screwed.
Once again, there was
This
some
thing took a
novel
dive? Yeah.
Yeah,
things that was with that. Let me see if I can move it forward a little bit.
truly field repairable.
Sure.
Like, yeah, maybe the motors, but
I don't know if it's me or it.
so yeah.
Once again,
The point of this is
just
not
different
every
ways
drone is the
to
same.
technique. The one,
And just in case someone finds a load that works
once again,
well
drop
for
your
a
questions,
shotgun, doesn't mean
cybersecurity.
it's going to
Put
work
them in
on
the
all
chat.
drones.
They use net. Yep.
Yeah, you can leave that link.
They can use nets. The one they hit it and did a parachute so it wouldn't crash. So there's a number of ways, but we know drones are becoming more and more capable, more and more used in good things and nefarious things. I was going to see if I can actually train a drone. I don't know why. I just got a couple things in my inbox talking about using kind of machine learning, not specifically AI, to train a drone. Talk about a flight plan. Because a lot of times you're not even flying it. It has specific flight plans that they need to do and do that. Once again, put your questions, cybersecurity, chat in the box. Just kind of wrapping it up. Hopefully everybody shot to Chris. I think it was negative 15 in Dakota, where he was at. It's 8 degrees
Yeah.
here. It's definitely
Yeah,
dropping.
y'all about to get.
Everybody has a safe
Yeah, that snow is about to come pretty soon. It was
TGIF
like-
and have a great weekend. And hopefully, where you at, you're not in the way of the blizzard that's coming. I was calling it the Snowgeddon. We were talking about 11 inches in Indiana. I thought that was a bit of hyperbole. So once again, I'm sure everybody's joining me.
Yeah, but yeah, that
I'm
snow's
hang out a
coming.
little longer. Have anybody drop questions? Tech or cybersecurity in the box. We'll take a little break and get ready for the Snowgeddon.
Buy all the alcohol. 'cause like I
Everybody's
said, that's
2026 is starting off a little better.
yep.
Gotta make sure I 10 best drone systems, anti-drone. I'll make sure I'll get that in the description of this video. Once again, I'm in the Study GRC Discord bothering the Vice President B-Dubs. She's out and about multitasking. Want to thank her for coming. Shout out to my favorite PM, Larry in the house. Once again, B-Dubs. Shout out to Steph, CISA extraordinaire. Regine's always up there. Shout out to Cam. Hopefully he's putting out more YouTube videos. Definitely go check him out. Shout out to Space Tacos. Hopefully her team wins. Shout out to my man Ty. Shout out to Juniper Ice for joining us. You talking because I can't hear you, so I don't know if it's me or you.
Yeah, can you hear
See
me?
you going on and off. I can't hear you, man. I don't know. Let me check it
You
out.
hear me?
I'll bring you down and back it up. See if it's me or you.
Can you
I
hear
want
me?
to drop down and come back up. I can't hear you.
Okay.
Hopefully the audience can hear me. y'all always struggle streaming. Give me one in the chat if y'all can hear me. Oh, shout out to B-Dubs, gave me a shout out. She heard me. Y'all good, B-Dubs. Definitely. Hopefully everybody's 2026 is here. Once again, hang out a little longer. Drop a couple questions in the chat. PDO weekend, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Time to stay safe. Everybody stay safe and warm this weekend. Jupiter ice is back. What kind of ice is Jupiter? Let's see. Say something, Jupiter.
Can you
I
hear
can't
me?
hear you, man. I don't know if it's me or you. I'm about to shut it on down, man. I don't know if it's me or you. The crowd said they can hear me, man. To class, but I'm here to go Pats. I appreciate it. I'm shutting it down. I appreciate you. Like to check me out on the replay. Once again, I appreciate everybody for joining. For some reason, I've been dragging lately. I got to get my butt to the gym and get on my 2026 groove. Once again, I appreciate everybody for joining me. Let me turn my fat face in the corner. Appreciate everybody for joining me. Come and check me out. I usually go Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, and noon at lunch. I appreciate you. Noon at lunch on Friday, aka today, and noon Thursday. So I've been trying to go live more, trying to get my hours back up on YouTube so I can get my monetization back and have a little more free time. You late, casual economist. You late. Friday lunch and learn, 12 p.m. Eastern. Check me out on the replay. But I do know I appreciate you. I appreciate Christine post from my LinkedIn. I need to start doing some specific LinkedIn videos. So I sound good. I'm barely doing YouTube. But no, once again, I want to appreciate everybody for joining me. TGIF, everybody have a happy Friday. I'm out. Catch me on these cybersecurity streets. People about to lay down real quick. Once again, everybody have a safe weekend and be safe if you